Hey guys, Pastor Tanner here, coming at you with another Logos video. In this video, I'm going to be covering the researcher libraries from the new Logos subscription model launch that is happening on Monday the 21st. Now, as always, these libraries are subject to change, but as far as I'm aware, these are the final libraries that will be shipping on the 21st. I also want to remind you at this point that when you get a subscription, you get 30% off your first library that you purchase, and that counts for every library that is in your cart. So you want to do your research, decide which libraries you want, and make that one big purchase up front. If you make a mistake, no problem. You get 15% off the next one. Now, one interesting thing about the research libraries is that they start at silver and they go all the way up to portfolio. So you don't have starter or bronze, which are typically much cheaper. They're below the 3 figures mark when it comes to buying that library. Instead, you're jumping in at silver and going up from there. Silver retails for $349.99. We have gold at $849.99. Platinum at $1,499. We have diamond at $2,999. And finally, portfolio, $4,749. Now, again, as a reminder, what you're typically paying for when you purchase a library is the commentary sets, but that might be the least true when it comes to the researcher libraries. Many of these resources here are for digging into those original languages. You're getting really high quality dictionaries. You're getting good lexicons. So if that's what you want, you're in the right place. And again, as always, I'm not trying to be exhaustive with my best picks. I just went through and looked at each of the libraries, what was on offer, and I want to draw your attention to some of the resources. All right, at the silver level, just some resources I've already mentioned in other videos, but I want to highlight them here. You get the NET notes and the NET translation. This is the perfect Bible for each of these libraries. I'm not surprised it's at the lowest level because you are getting really good notes when it comes to translation and textual critical issues. Not only that, they included abridged Kittle and abridged DCH, Dictionary of Classical Hebrew, again at the silver level. These good abridged works are going to allow you to get some nice scholarly academic information, but it's a lot of bang for your buck because you're not getting the huge volumes here. I've also noted before the Dictionary of Biblical Languages. This one is really good. It's a nice one-stop shop, especially if you don't need to go that in-depth. So the lexical offerings here are really nice. Now, as far as commentaries go, they include the UBS handbooks here at this silver level. I think they want to focus in on those translators, those people who are really looking at the original languages and want to figure out how they might translate it themselves. Again, I already talked about this resource more in the previous videos, so go ahead and check that out. Now, on to some of what is new in this library, or at least new resources that I haven't highlighted before. You get the NA28 and the critical apparatus. The Nestle Aland 28 is considered by many to be the gold standard in the field when it comes to Greek New Testaments. Now, of course, this assumes that you take a younger is better or more textual critical approach to the text, not the majority text, but a lot of people really like this one, and this one's great to link up with your favorite English translation and read along side by side. But they didn't only leave you with Greek. Here you also have Hebrew, the Biblical Hebraica Studargensia. This resource, again, is considered to be one of the top tier resources in its field. It's basically doing for the Old Testament what you get out of NA28. I like that they're offering serious original language resources here in silver, but recognize that's where most of your value lies. So if you're not going to get a lot of value out of these resources, you may want to pass on the researcher libraries altogether. Just want to highlight a couple more things here. Emmanuel Tov's parallel aligned Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek texts. Now, this is essentially an interlinear, and you can get this same value out of using many of Logos's native reverse interlinears and interlinears that are buried in the Bible translations themselves. But one of the things I like about this resource is that you have the Hebrew, the Aramaic, the Greek all next to each other in one single resource. That's pretty nice. Of course, you could set up something similar if you wanted to have all of your other ones aligned, but this makes it really nice to get them all in one location. Again, if this is a resource that you think you're going to get a lot of value out of, this is a really good purchase. But again, if you don't think you're going to be utilizing this resource, you may not want to be buying researcher libraries. One more thing in silver before we move on to gold. These are the Carta handbooks. Now, Carta handbooks, there are many different resources here. They have the Echoes of the Past, they have the Carta New Century Handbook and Atlas, and they have the Sacred Bridge. Now, these resources are chock full with a lot of historical data and information. And that information is often on academic topics that you're not going to find treated in many other places. So if you want to study world history, or you want to frame up some of your understanding, maybe you're really interested in looking at the Qumran texts, things like that, you might like the Carta resources. But again, these are specialized resources, so just look at them and make sure that's what you want. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Gold Researcher. Gold Researcher goes ahead and adds those serious lexicons that they couldn't squeeze into silver. So here's where you get BDAG 3rd edition. This is considered by many to be top in the field. I really like this resource, especially if you utilize the hyperlinking system in Logos Bible Software. software, you can pull up a lot of other works that have the same words, and you can see how they're used by other ancient authors. Doubling down on Greek lexicons, you get LSJ, Liddell Scott Jones. I said in a previous video that before there was BDAG 3rd edition, they had LSJ. Many people still like to reference this lexicon. Here you get both right here in gold. And not only that, here, yet again, Greek Louw-Nida. Here with Louw-Nida, Louw-Nida is a pretty famous resource. This Greek-English lexicon is kind of in a class of its own because it categorizes words by semantic domain. This is sort of a step up from the Strong's numbering system that we had way back in the day. Here you actually have words combined into like words, and you can compare and contrast them. This is a really good resource to have. Gold's not just going to stop with Greek, however. If you want to get more in-depth into Hebrew, you have the entirety of the Dictionary of Classical Hebrew. So you can see here, they're really doubling, tripling down on the lexicons in gold. If you want all of the top quality, top tier original language resources, here's where you need to go. A couple more things I want to highlight here. I've already talked in a previous video about the Apollos Old Testament commentary. It is found here, which is a nice resource that is a little bit more on the academic side, but it's still accessible. I like it. And then also maybe a simple one, but Ralph's Septuagint with Logos morphology. This is the one I actually use most of the time when I'm referencing the Septuagint because I love that the morphology is built in. Two more commentary sets here in gold. And if you don't like these, then you're probably going to want to pass because here you have the International Critical Commentary. This is 68 volumes. Now, these commentaries run the gamut. They've been in production over 100 years, and they just keep pushing out volumes. These commentaries lean a little bit more academic, scholarly, liberal, if you will. And so, if that's not your cup of tea, you might want to pass here because this is an expensive commentary set. The majority of your value in gold is going to those top-tier lexicons and the ICC. Also, don't sleep on the classical commentaries on the Greek New Testament. These are a little bit older, and so you might overlook them, but they are really trying to deal with, at least for their day and age, the original languages in a serious way. I think you'll enjoy them. All right, let's move on to Platinum Researcher. If Gold Researcher was all about trying to shovel in the top-tier original language resources, Platinum is trying to catch up on the commentary front. Here is where you get Pillar New Testament commentary. This is one of the best-in-class commentary sets. It has a lot of really good resources in it. I think you're going to enjoy it. But I must highlight here the SIL Exegetical Summaries set. I love this set. I actually did a video on this very set as a sleeper resource. Check out the link up here. I really enjoy it because what it does is it goes and it compares and contrasts many different leading commentaries in the field, and it explains what some major positions are. If you utilize the exegetical summaries well, you can either get a lot of great information to curate your studies, help you know where you want to go, or you can get a lot of good high-level information so you know what to treat going forward. Not only Pillar, not only exegetical summaries, you're also getting the Hermeneia series. The Hermeneia series is, again, one of these commentaries that's a little bit more critical in nature, but it focuses on the original languages. I generally like the resources that are available in the Hermeneia set. They're never my first commentary to consult, but I like looking to them when I've already consulted a few of the commentaries that are a little bit more conservative and in line with my tradition. And one of the cool things is that this commentary set is one of the few commentary sets that actually comments on books other than the 66 books of the Bible, the Old Testament and New Testament. So do you want a commentary on 1st Enoch? Do you want a commentary on the Gospel of Thomas? They're actually available here with some nice original translations. One set that's relatively new to the Logos ecosystem that I love to see its debut here is Jaroslav Pelikan's 5-volume church history set. I welcome these to Logos. I was actually trying to purchase them in print before they came to Logos. Now I just own them in Logos, so I'm very pleased with that. To many, this is considered to be one of the top tier sets on church history. I think you're really going to enjoy reading through it. A couple of other things to highlight before going to Diamond. You've got the works of Flavius Josephus. Josephus is often referenced because he wrote so much during the same time period as Jesus. You also get the full theological dictionary of the Old Testament. These theological dictionaries are really nice to help you dig into the words, their etymology, and what they might mean in terms of their entire semantic domain. Finally, here at Platinum, you get the comprehensive Aramaic lexicon. Now, this lexicon contains many targums and targum fragments, so you might enjoy perusing them. But again, if you're not going to be digging into the Aramaic at all, know that some of your value is tied up with resources like this, so you may want to consider a different set. All right, let's go to Diamond. Of course, you get everything that was previously mentioned, and here in Diamond, they're just trying to round out many different areas of the library itself. The standout commentary here is the Exegetical Guide to the Greek New Testament. There's only 14 volumes, but they are considered to be some of the best commentaries on their respective books. I like them very much. They focus in on the original languages, and they are in depth. I've mentioned before the Wiley Blackwell commentary series. These are hit or miss, but I really like the unique perspective they bring to the individual verses that they're treating. Another thing that you're getting a lot of in Diamond are theological journals and magazines. We're talking Semea, American Journal of Theology, and the Journal of Hebrew Scriptures, among many others. Scholarly Scholarly journals can be great if you're writing papers for school and if you are trying to get those golden nuggets for your sermons, but they're often very specialized and you have to spend a lot of time reading in-depth articles. You're also getting some volumes from an OTL and NTL series. These are published by Sheffield Press. There's a lot of interesting topics covered by these, and these come as supplements for the Journal of Old Testament Studies and New Testament Studies. Finally, an interesting one to see here, you have the Encyclopedia Britannica. I think there's some value to having this embedded natively in the Logos ecosystem, especially because the search is getting so much better, so you might enjoy referencing that resource here. All right, let's go on to Portfolio, and here, more than anywhere else, you really have some specialized resources on offer. I've got to mention the Göttingen Septuagint. This is considered to be one of the top works in this field. However, it is cumbersome to use. You have to do some research on how to utilize this resource. Now, if you do that research ahead of time, it is top tier. But I want you to know, over the years, although I have the Göttingen Septuagint, I really haven't gotten much value out of it. Now, if you're the kind of person who is studying the Septuagint often, I think you're really going to like this resource. But if you are not, it's an expensive one. I want you to consider that before going to Portfolio. Another very interesting one regarding the original languages is Michael Karasik's 5 volumes on each of the first 5 books of the Bible. But these are more than just 5 volumes, because what they've done is they've actually gone in and put out fresh translations and a commentary for each of these books. These are put out by the Jewish Publication Society, and I think you're really going to like the comments that they interweave as you dig through these resources. A new one to the Logos ecosystem that I'm excited to dig into are put out by Good Times Publishing, and they're biblical Hebrew study books. The author is Yigal Tzadka, and these are often titled Choice Words from the Story of ... And so there's 30 of them. These seem really cool to me because they look like they allow you to wrestle in depth with the Hebrew. And after each section, you have like a small box that you can type in your comments or ideas. One more I want to highlight here before we close out Portfolio is the Anchor Yale Bible series. This is a big set. It comes with the Anchor Yale Bible commentaries. These are similar in kind to ICC from earlier. It comes with the Anchor Yale Dictionary, which is considered one of the best in its field, albeit a little bit more critical. And so this is a big set that they included here at Portfolio to round out the library. So what are my final thoughts? Well, here with these researcher libraries, Logos has done a fantastic job hitting their target audience. So much of the value in each of these sets is tied up with original language resources, whether that be fresh translations or unique lexicons or Bible dictionaries. And because of that, I think that a lot of users are going to struggle to get maximum value out of these sets. That said, I still do have a few recommendations for purchasing. First of all, pairing these libraries with a Max subscription allows you to avail yourself of a lot of the commentaries that are in Max, and then you're shoring up the original languages, which frankly is often where the subscription libraries are falling short. So I don't mind at all a Max subscription here with Researcher Silver. Silver is the cheapest library in this set, gives you a lot of good original language resources, and you're going to have the commentary shored up from your subscription library. If you want to bump up to Gold, you can get even better original language resources as well. So Silver or Gold plus Max is not bad. Now let's say you don't want Max, but you want to go with the Pro subscription instead. Well, if you're going to go with the Pro subscription, then I think you need to go up at least to Platinum or Diamond here in the researcher libraries to really flesh out those commentaries. Finally, you might go for the Big Daddy here, Max subscription plus Portfolio. You're getting tons of great original language resources that I think are going to serve you very well, especially if you're studying the Word from an academic or scholarly perspective. So I like the researcher libraries, but I think most users are going to struggle to get maximum value out of many of these resources. So that said, my favorite libraries that I've reviewed thus far are the preacher libraries. I think most people are really going to enjoy those preacher libraries. All right, if this video helped you at all, please consider utilizing my affiliate link down below. It links your account to mine, gets me a small commission. Appreciate your love and support so much here at Pastor Tanner Biblical Studies. I'm looking forward to seeing you again real soon. Take care. God bless. Bye.